Nobody expected what happened today. The Nasdaq is currently down over 1.5% at the time of recording this video. You are actually seeing an outperformance of small cap stocks today, which is not usually what happens, but considering what happened today, well, yeah, this caught a lot of people by surprise. And really the main reason why stocks are selling off is because the markets need to now reconsider who is really an AI play and who is not. This comes because Dell is down almost 22% today, and that stock has 3x'd in the last 12 months based on AI, when only 2% of their revenue actually comes from AI. Dell actually beat the estimates. They did very good across the board, but it was just not good enough. It wasn't some kind of Nvidia-like earnings report. This is sending down all of your semiconductors today. You have SMCI down 7%, Nvidia down 2%, Broadcom down 3.5%, AMD down 3%, and other adjacent AI trades are also trading lower. And this is really having a sympathy effect affecting everything. Even the IWM, which was up about 1% in pre-market following the PCE report, is also down 1/3 of 1%, including Tesla, which is down about 2% today as well. We did have core PCE month over month that came in today at 0.2%. The forecast was 0.25%, and last month's number was 0.3%. So this actually came in better than expected, and that is why small cap stocks are doing much better than the Nasdaq or the S&P today. And really, if it hadn't been for Dell selling off over 20% and having this kind of algorithmic reaction with other AI stocks, big tech, and semiconductors, I think markets would be doing pretty well today, because this was a really good inflation number. Personal income came in at 0.3%, in line with expectations. Personal spending had a surprise drop and a revision from last month. You went from 0.8% down to 0.7%, and your number that you came in for April was 0.2%. Estimates were around 0.4%. So less spending, lower inflation. That's great. PCE month over month on the headline came in at 0.3%. Forecast was 0.2%. We don't care about that all too much. And year over year, PCE came in at 2.7%. The estimate was around 2.7% as well. Chicago PMIs came in at 35.4. The estimate was around 41. So weaker economic activity, weaker spending, and lower inflation. That's actually great news from the market's perspective. But again, it's really the AI stocks selling off that caught the markets by surprise. There's a lot of extra premium embedded in Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and your obviously semiconductor names, that when that thesis kind of gets shaken, it can have a rippling effect throughout all of the markets and cause algorithms to just sell stocks just because of selling stocks. And when markets were still trading near all-time highs, that's problematic when you put into question the main reason why stocks are at all-time highs, and that is AI. And we do have some Tesla stock specific news today that is hitting the news wires and causing more selling. That is this from, you guessed it, Reuters, yours truly. Tesla to recall 125,227 vehicles over faulty seatbelt warning system. But you guessed it, this is an over-the-air software update. So it's not actually a physical recall, and there's, nothing wrong with the seatbelts. These news stories, though, especially recalls, they hit the news wire, and algorithms take it as if it's a physical recall when it's not. Elon Musk also confirms that there has not been any discussions of a role for him in a potential Trump presidency, which Tesla stock reacted favorably to the news that Elon Musk could be an advisor to Trump if he wins the White House for the second time. So maybe that's seen as a little bit of disappointment today as well. Tesla is running these two paid advertisements on X, encouraging Tesla investors to vote for proposals 3 and 4, while also advertising the Model Y's special loan rate of 0.99% and the Model 3's low lease rate. And in total, Tesla continues to run about 4,000 different ads with Google. Tesla is delaying supercharger access for GM and Polestar for later this year. Jeep has fully unveiled the 2024 Wagoneer S, their first global battery electric vehicle, with a starting price of $72,000, 300 miles of range, and 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas has released a new Tesla note after running a survey about Tesla's upcoming shareholder vote. Quote, 57% of our 109 survey respondents expect approval of Elon Musk's comp package, outnumbering the portion of respondents who expect non-approval by about 2 to 1. And that is the single biggest upcoming catalyst for Tesla stock is the shareholder vote, shareholder meeting on June 13th. You also have this, which is seen as bad news as well. ISS recommends Tesla shareholders to reject CEO's pay package. They say, although the achievement of the grant's performance hurdles and the substantial growth in the company's size and profitability are fully recognized, the award value was considered outsized from the start. The report was quoted by multiple media outlets. ISS reportedly also recommended shareholders vote against Tesla's director James Murdoch, but backed votes for director Kimball Musk and Tesla's proposed move to change its state of incorporation to Texas from Delaware. And that news today is probably having a pretty negative effect on Tesla stock as well. So without this recall news, without this news of ISS essentially saying to reject Elon's comp package, I think Tesla stock would look a lot different than it does today. And that will ultimately come down to June 13th. And I still think, like I said in the last video, you're likely to get a lot of volatility heading into June 13th. Not a big fall, not a big rise, and the move itself will come on June 13th. Right now, you're seeing a lot of institutional investors with large positions in Tesla going out and they're buying deep in the money put options, effectively hedging out their position. When they do that, it forces market makers to go short the stock. So you are seeing a lot of hedging heading into June 13th. That doesn't necessarily say the vote's not going to go through or giving us some kind of insight, but just saying a lot of big money is nervous that if it doesn't go through, they want to be hedged for the downside. Option activity in Tesla stock today is quite mixed when you actually look at the flows themselves. Lots of calls coming in here. Take a look at this one for June 7th, a 182.50 call worth almost $6 million. You have another one for June 7th, a 180 call worth almost $2 million. There's definitely call buyers today, speculators, if you will, and that's probably because inflation came in lower than expected, and that has not been a common thing in 2024. Now, of course, there's going to be people hedging, people going long. Overall, today, I would say things look pretty good for whatever reason, at least in the options market, right? If you look at this stock, it's down 2%. I'm saying things look pretty good. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Things do not look good. We're down 2%. I think under the surface, things look a lot better than what you might think. And inflation coming down lower than expected. Well, I think that will have a positive impact on the markets, on interest rate sensitive stocks like Tesla for a more extended period of time. I don't think this is a one-day thing. We're over with it. And I think you will continue to see that have a positive impact to Tesla stock until we get the next big round of data coming out at least later in next week. If you look at the totality of the order flow in the options market, according to Ortex, you have 5 orders totaling $1.31 million with a positive order value of 27%. For whatever reason, they're not calculating the options correctly because, I mean, you see $8 million worth of call options bought here. So those numbers are obviously not correct, but when you actually look at the flows themselves, it looks a lot more positive than negative today. Tesla shorts are still reluctant to cover on their short positions. You still have a multi-year high of 3.79% short interest of free flow, $18.77 billion that are currently sold short in Tesla stock, totaling 105 million shares that are sold short. Based on this lower than expected inflation report that came out today, 10-year treasury yields are trading down over 4 basis points, and that is having a positive effect to small caps and interest rate sensitive stocks despite the overall red day that you are seeing today. Small caps on aggregate are doing a lot better than your big tech and certainly a lot better than semis and Magnificent Sevens. Over on StockTwits today, sentiment for Tesla is bearish at 41. Yesterday, it was bearish at 39, so a little bit better there. Message volume is definitely lower today. Yesterday, it was high at 59. Today, it's normal at 53. And the participation ratio today is normal at 54. You now have 48.37% of stocks above their 50-day moving average. In fact, you're actually seeing about 1.5% of stocks breaking above their 50-day moving average today. And that's why I love to look at this, because it shows you market breadth, what the participation is doing out in the markets today. If you look at the indexes themselves, the NASDAQ down 1.5%, the S&P down, even the Russell's still in the red, at least at the time of recording this video. That looks like it might be changing here soon. Actually, it just went green. But when you actually look under the surface, well, stocks are doing okay today. Yes, there's a lot of red out there, but there's also some green. The 10-2-year yield curve inversion is staying remarkably stable at about negative 37 basis points inverted. You actually want to watch this more closely when you start to get an uninversion. That's typically when you're heading into a recession. Google Trends data for the Cybertrucks ticking down from 81 to 75. The Model Y going from 40 to 37. The Model 3 is actually trending upwards from 23 to 24, the Model S going from 12 to 11, and the Model X going from 10 down to 9. So overall, some very solid Google Trends data for the Tesla lineup. On a technical basis, Tesla stock's doing exactly what I expected it to do. You're in between that 20 and 50-day moving average, and I think you could stay in a pretty tight range heading into June 13th, because I think at 175, the risks are pretty balanced to both sides here, right? Tesla stock is priced in a lot of bad news. It's 60% lower than all-time highs, 70% lower than all-time highs. That's quite substantial when stocks are at all-time highs, right? The S&P and the NASDAQ, and Tesla's priced in a lot of bad news, okay? This is a much different Tesla than we had in years prior as far as people expecting the worst out of Tesla. So I think it's pretty appropriately priced heading into June 13th to the downside and to the upside. I think you're still off of that 138 low. You're in the 175 range. I think you're accurately priced on both sides. But I still am expecting a lot of volatility heading into that event, and it wouldn't surprise me if next week is a pretty crazy week overall for Tesla. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video. TLT is up 0.5% today. Oil is down about 1%, which is or will have a positive impact on bringing down inflation as well. Oil is something you want to watch pretty closely because inflation tends to track oil, and you are falling back to some of the lower points we have seen, at least in Q2. So that is good news. USO is at $74.82 a barrel, and a 1% down move for oil is a pretty good day. The dollar is up about 0.1%, which could put some pressure on stocks, but I think that's the last thing market participants are looking at today. So with that said, let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comments section. Let me know where you think Tesla's going next, what's going on, and if next week could be a good week for Tesla and or broader markets. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time as well, check that out. Link down below in the description of this video. We did turn $60 options contracts, 5 of them into over $300 a piece on Dell earnings. And that stock's down about 22% today. If you guys want to be a part of the action over there, as well as we did hit IWM calls yesterday, those printed out about 75% as well. Come join the action. Link down below in the description of this video. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.